is turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
Welcome to The Best of Intentions, a podcast from Intention Films and Media, hosted by writer, director, former film commissioner, and novelist Debra Markowitz. So join us as we talk about all things creative.
Welcome to the Best of Intentions podcast. The theme of this is movies, magic, medicine, and more, because some people feel that movies can be magic, they can be medicine, they can kind of be anything you want them to be. I'm very excited to have my guest here, an actress who I have worked with 3 times so far, who's also a musician and a singer, and she does pretty much everything. But I'd love to welcome Nikki Silva.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, this is really cool. You're actually working on a feature right now.
Yes, I am. Literally right now, we are going to be filming after this podcast. It is called Junkie Diaries. It started out as a short film, and we started production. It was supposed to be a 6-day shoot. And as we were filming, and I was, getting to know the actors in the roles, the director and I put our heads together and started adding scenes. And he's like, we're making a feature film. Like, are we now? Okay. And we kind of just figured it out. I took about 3 weeks in like a writing hole and just had a bunch of table reads and just kept writing until I, wrote enough to be a feature. And, I feel like in the editing room, I'm also kind of rewriting. And then adding scenes, and it's a very crazy process. But yeah, mid-production, we went from a short to a feature. So,
how many more days do you think you have left on set?
6 days of shooting, including today. So after today will be 5.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. I mean, that same thing happened to me with Waitlist, a lover story that it started as a 1-day shoot. And afterwards, I'm like, these characters are amazing. I want to know what happened to them. How did they get here?
Yeah.
And then I think I basically locked myself in my office for about 4 days. And I couldn't stop writing because the characters kept talking to me. And I said to John at the end of it, I said, I think I just wrote a feature film in a week. He said, Debbie, it's been 4 days. I'm like, what? Now, I write a lot, but I've never written as crazy as that before.
Yeah,
and then, like, within the month, we were filming, and we ended up just doing the whole film
That's
in like
amazing.
12 days.
It's so exciting when it kind of just is happening, and it's not something that you write and then you wait years, you know. It's been really exciting, and I've had a lot of self-discovery in making this project.
That's cool.
It's my first feature that I wrote, produced, and I'm starring in. So I did one feature before that I directed, but now I handed off the directing position to my good friend Dave Morrissey, and he's amazing, but it's this very interesting dynamic being the writer and a producer and having feelings about my own character, but trusting in him to direct it. And I think that it's creating a pretty beautiful outcome. And then I have Mark Frotto as my cinematographer. He wears a lot of hats on the film, but he's also kind of very in on the creative process and the editing. So it's really like a culmination of all of that. And the film deals a lot with addiction and grief. And Dave and I both have very personal experiences with that. So putting our stories into this story and just really trying to honor the truth and the humanity of people who really go through the struggles that are in the film.
That's amazing.
Nice.
I mean, when you can feel it, and especially if you have a personal background, I know when I write, most of the time I know who I want to cast in things before I write it. So I'll take parts of their personality and add that to the character, which makes it, people like your characters so real because you infuse them with it. Yes, they have to be good actors, but, you put their little quirks in there.
Yes. I cast my Uncle Anthony as a role, and he has never acted before in his life, but the role was so him, and he just came on set. Everybody was scared of him. He played like the big heroin dealer, and you could put him in a room with Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese directing, and he would just totally fit right in. Like, he was amazing. So that was super exciting. But the other roles I actually wrote originally for two of my friends, and they are, on TV and busy and doing things. So I went through the casting process. It was one of my favorite things I've ever done. I'm like, wait, maybe I should be a casting director.
Did you get 1,000 responses though and have to go through them?
Yes.
That didn't make you crazy?
I just loved it because being an actor, getting to see it from that side, and I really went through everyone's headshot. I mean, some people I saw the headshot and I'm like, this is just not it. But a lot of the times I would go into their resume, into their reel, their slate shot, and I really handpicked about a little over 100 for each role.
Oh, wow.
And then, maybe if let's just say 150 I chose for a role, and then 60 or 70 submitted. And I watched every tape.
Wow.
From start to finish. I didn't stop. I wrote notes for every single actor who submitted, not for them to see, but just for me to see. And I think being an actor, I had such respect for every single person who submitted a tape. And being the writer and sitting and hearing these different interpretations of the characters in the script, I was teary-eyed the whole time. It was just so much fun. I loved it. And then narrowing it down. And I had a little team, and we would have meetings, and then we did callbacks, and it was just very obvious at the end of the day who the characters should be, and they've been doing a great job.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm usually the person, mostly now I'm just a writer and director for the most part, but occasionally I'll cast, and I'm usually the person they call when they decide to do what you do and go, I can't do this, everyone sucks, I can't, no one's right. And there was a feature film last year that I said, well, describe who you want the lead to be. And so I gave him two people, and he went, they're both perfect. I'm like, because I know
you
people,
have the network.
Yeah, because I've been working with these people. I've hired both of them before, and so he ended up picking one for the lead. It was kind of difficult for him, but if you have the time, it is really cool. And depending on the job, if it's I'm hired to, it's a big difference between somebody calling me and going, hey, these are the 3 people I know, and I'm like, here's 5 for each one, and they're all perfect.
Yeah.
But if you want to find somebody new, it's so time
And
consuming.
I urged friends of mine who I know are talented to also submit. There were, I was very impressed at the New York talent. Like, people are really good, and I think, and they really cared, and I met so many people through the casting process. I feel like there's just not a lot to work on in New York, so people are just excited to jump on board. And the 2 leads that I cast are not originally from the States, so they're immigrants. One from Argentina and one from Austria. Is George from Austria? Yeah, Austria. And I like mix up countries, and I have the Mandela effect happen in my brain. But but they both do perfect New York accents. And I'm like, this is who I want in my film, because these are the people who are one day going to be stars, and I'm going to say they were in my movie.
So that's amazing when you see that and you discover that. There's this one actor whose name I won't bring up, but he's awesome. I had been working on casting a couple of projects for people way when I started. I was just doing casting, and I would bring him in for a few jobs, and he didn't get hired like 3 times. I'm like, how do these people not know how talented this guy is? And then sure enough, one director who, you have to know how to work with your directors. And I kind of knew that if I was too strong on who I thought it should be, that he would automatically not want them. So I kind of had to pretend that, this guy's, I think he's good. And he kept giving them these ridiculous demands, like, have him do this with an English accent. So I'd text him. He'd send in a tape.
Oh my God.
Well, have him do it with a accent. And then and finally by the 3rd time, the guy's just asked, he goes, well, which version of the country? And then he just do, because this guy's that good. And he basically finally did it on the hood of his car, and he ended up getting the job. And since then, he works on Long Island all the time, but he does a lot of TV. He's in a lot of television shows. But at first, I'm like, how do they not see how good this guy is? But I could see it.
Yeah.
So there's always those special people that you keep in your mind, and maybe you can't use them for a few projects, but you can't wait until you can.
That's how I feel about a lot of people that I found through this casting process also. I actually ended up writing a role for one of the guys who I just fell in love with his tape. And I'm like, you're just not right for the aging and this and that. So I ended up writing him a role in the movie. And then there's another kid who's just so talented. I'm like, keeping him in my brain. I'm like, I know one day I'm gonna whip you out.
you got to share these people with me.
I absolutely will. I'm
always looking for people who just really knock your socks off. Yeah. And that's one thing as an actor that I always tell people is do your best, because even if they don't hire you for this,
so true.
And it could be 5 million reasons they don't hire you. You're too tall. You're too short. You look too much like your co-star. You look way too different than your co-star.
Like the kid I'm playing, Ophelia in the film, and one kid who had an amazing audition was 20 years old. I didn't know he was 20. I just knew he looked young. I didn't think 20. And then when I found out he was 20, I'm like, I'm in my 30s, so that's why it couldn't be you, babe. But little things like that, and it's also, as an actress, kind of reassuring to know, let's just have fun with my auditions, because at the end of the day, it's not about, you just have to be yourself and be authentic and do the character to the best of your ability. And maybe it's not you, but that casting director is going to remember if you are just authentically yourself. So.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if they call you or recommend you.
Yeah.
Because I had, when we did Waitlist, one of our leads, the actor that he worked with on the film, who does a lot of TV, somebody called her and asked her, hey, do you know anybody who might be good for this? And she said, I just worked with this guy. And he ended up getting a job, he actually had to fly out of state to do this World War II movie. Wow. But, so just, man, when you do your best and you shine, somebody's going to remember you.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
So that's really awesome. I'd love to tell people that, because occasionally they'll go, well, I don't know. I said, do your best anyway.
Yeah.
Always do your best, because people are going to remember. If you don't call them back, they're going to remember.
Yeah.
If you
and
don't
maybe
respond,
something you do will inspire something, even if it inspires something that you don't even get to be in the film, but this is a collaboration. making art is, especially in film, it takes a village to create a film. Mm-hmm. So if something that I do in an audition can maybe inspire the writer to think of something, even if it's not writing me a character, it's like I'm still contributing to this art. Mm-hmm. And that's like what the casting process feels like. It's like we're all working together. That's why I respect all of the tape so much, because I'm like, you submitted to this and I asked you to audition, you're now a part of this film, even if I don't cast you. So yeah, I would love to explore the casting process more on other films and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. Yeah, it's something about watching the talent that I love. That I am so inspired by really good actors.
Same.
That when I see it, it's just woo.
Same.
And we have one of the things I do is I run the Long Island International Film Expo, and we have a director's audition panel. And so people can come in and read for usually about 6
I think I did that like years ago
did you
for
do
you.
That once?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so we have like 6 or 7 judges who are they're not that they're judges, but they're directors.
Right.
So even if they don't have a project now, they might have a project in 5 years. And to see sometimes people come in and blow you away, it's so awesome to watch.
Yeah.
And,
awesome.
and you want to root for everybody. You want
Yeah.
everybody to do well and get jobs. And some people have gotten jobs from them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of my favorite things to do. But okay, so what else? So Nikki, you are a musician too.
Yes.
So what were you doing first? Acting or writing music?
My dad's a musician, so he taught me 4 chords on the piano when I was like 10, and then I wrote 100 songs with those 4 chords until I ended up learning more about music theory and just music in general. But so I was always writing songs, and I always was like making beats and rapping. I never felt like I had a good voice, so I always kind of was like, I'm a rapper. But then professionally, I started acting first. I started taking acting classes, and I did a play with 2 boys, and those boys both also did music, and they were like, let's hang out and make music, and we ended up starting a band. So that was like my first experience with music professionally, came out of doing my first play.
It's amazing.
So we made a band, The Big Happy, who's still going strong. And, the lead singer of the band was like, Nikki, you can sing, but you should take voice lessons so that, you could do harmonies and sing more parts and not just rap. So then I started taking voice lessons, and, I fell in love with music in a deeper way. Because growing up, even though my dad was a musician, I wasn't really encouraged. My grandparents kind of raised me. And I think because of the rock and roll lifestyle and path that my dad went down, they kind of discouraged me from music in ways. And, they're like, oh, you're so smart. You should be a doctor. You should be a lawyer. And kind of like really tried to steer me in that direction. So I didn't get to, be in band in school or like learn an instrument, or I wasn't, that part of my passion wasn't nurtured as much. But the writing was. So I was always writing, which was cool. So yeah, I didn't start really learning about music until my early 20s, and now I have my first debut album out, Thank You Places, which I co-wrote with Teddy Kumpel, who is an absolute legend. He's an amazing guitar player, amazing musician. He is actually about to go on tour with Joe Jackson.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and he kind of, me and him just had this amazing synergy. We started with one song together with my other friend, Yuda. Yuda sent me a beat, and then I was like, let's produce this. He brought me to Teddy, and then I was like, oh, Teddy, I got to work with you more. And we didn't really like set out to make an album, but it kind of just happened.
Yeah, just feel like the movie. I think when you're into it and you're in the flow,
exactly.
You just do what you gotta do. But we have a clip of some of Nikki's music, which we're going to show now.
It's not intentional, it's medical. Little jitterbug, you overly engage with me. I fed myself, I ate it up. Little pleasure spiked with pain. Ticket on your crazy train. Read the writings on the wall. Said don't care, I want it all.
long did it take? Now that's a couple of different songs.
Yeah, so I kind of cut up a bunch of clips so the songs weren't consecutively how they're supposed to be, but check them out on Spotify and YouTube. I have music videos for 3 of the songs on my album. The ones you saw was Manic Episode and Whatever's Left of Me. And then I have another one, Psycho Girlfriend, where it's kind of my favorite. It's my first music video that I did, and I recreated 30 horror films.
Oh, wow.
And we like found a way to put them all in the video, and then we did a little competition on like who could name them all. And that was really fun. I'm a huge horror fan. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of Scream Queen creds in the underground horror scene.
All right, I'm learning stuff. I didn't know that because you've been in 3 of my films so far.
Yes.
The first one was The Only Woman in the World, which is on Tubi, by the way. And
Love Tubi.
You played
Great for
Allison.
horror. Yes.
Yeah, Allison, the receptionist to a really, really crazy pain in the ass boss, and it was just hilarious.
That was such a fun day on set. I was saying before that I was so nervous because I was so young. It was like one of my first films, really.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, but then I got on set. Everybody was so cool, chill, and it was just so fun.
So that was cool. And then the second thing we worked on was a feature that I now have in editing called From the Embers, which was, you just, it's a great role, I think, where basically you find out that your partner has been cheating on you, and you find out the person that she's been cheating on you with, and he ends up in your house. And you have this conversation that's just, it's sort of cringeworthy, and this guy kind of has to sit there and take it, you know.
I loved doing that scene with Travis Grant. Oh my gosh, because we took an acting class together back in the day, and then when I saw him on set and I got to like just give it to him, it was just great.
That was really awesome. And then a couple of years later, maybe.
Oh yeah, and then I got to work with Travis again in a different way.
So then I figured, all right, well, let's do something a little different. And I wrote a movie called Just Sex, and it's about this comedian who's just broken up with his girlfriend, or they've been broken up. He moved out, and he's on the road, and he sort of gets picked up by this waitress who's having relationship issues of her own. But it's so very different, and it's funny, and it's adorable. And you haven't seen it yet, and we haven't premiered it yet, but we do have the trailer. So Tony, if we can show the trailer for it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. You're not from around here, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm a comedian. I'm on the road. I was doing a show at Bois Comedy Club.
Yeah, I know it. For a funny guy, you look like you could use some cheering up.
I forgot the condoms.
You don't think you're gonna get lucky on the road?
Oh my gosh, so cute. I haven't seen that yet.
We actually haven't even submitted anywhere yet. I realized the other day that we have all these films backed up, and I haven't had time to submit anything, so I need to get on that. But that was kind of a fun movie.
So cute.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and that's the one where John had to build a hotel set in our bedroom because you know what a problem it is getting hotels to film at.
Oh yeah. It's not ideal, but you got that the set looked great. Yeah. You put the hotel lock on the door. Everything was so legit.
And we left it there. So if somebody's going to come over to the house one day and go, what? Why do they have numbers on their bedroom doors? Well, we want to be prepared because you never know what you're going to see. You think you do, but you want every option when you do that. So that was kind of cool. So Junkie Diaries, you got 6 days left for that.
Yes.
Well, and then you have your editor set. And
yeah, Mark Frado, does the sound and the camera and the editing.
Oh, wow. He's doing sound and camera at the same time?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not normal, but
we've done that, but
we do what we can with our budget, and you know, he's really great, and you know, we ADR what we have to, but it's fine. I feel like sound used to be a lot more difficult, but now with the technology, it's just easier to make something sound good out of bad sound. Not that it's bad sound, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's ways around, complications with sound.
We had from the Embers, I mean, it's just insane the problems we've had, but one of them is the fact that our main location is shot at right across from a train station. So it really works in many respects because, this is, Travis plays this former junkie, who's been clean, and he just kind of he had such an abusive childhood that he just kind of, he works and he kind of has one night stands, he doesn't know how to connect with anybody. So there's kind of loneliness of the train going by all day long, which is, but of course sound's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But John noticed that whenever something really, really deep happens in that apartment,
you work
hear
it.
that.
Yeah. My director on Junkie Diaries always says, if you can't fix it, feature it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's like one of our mottos all when we're shooting. Can't fix it, feature it.
Yeah. I call it happy accidents.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the thing you don't count at all is just the thing that's like, oh my God.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, how could we feature this problem?
Yes. Yeah. And I fell in love with that almost immediately. I think we shot something there before, and it was a pain in the neck, but I go, no, I like this. And there's a scene, oh my God, there's one scene in the movie that we shot here, actually, at Governor's, and where his character is sitting at the bar, and for whatever reason, the wind kept picking up. So you have this guy going through these major decisions, and you hear this whoo, this howling of the wind. And I don't think it came up as good as it needed to, but I want to add a wind sound if it didn't.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just so lonely and haunting. Oh man, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, movies, and that's kind of where the magic comes into movies. Because if you look at it like you want to feature it and use it, and we've had some pretty awesome things. Like you didn't plan for extras, and yet some guy comes hobbling out of the bar and like perfect, keep it.
Love it. I love people who are just willing to. We actually had an issue with a location, and we ended up getting a location that was so much better, more convenient. And the whole staff was like down to be in the movie. There was people eating because it's very big. There's people eating on the other side, and the director goes, "Can I put the camera right behind your guy's head and shoot through you while you're talking?" And they're like, "Okay."
That's amazing.
So now we have this shot of like two people who were just trying to have dinner, but they were just excited to be in a movie. You get the two kinds of people who are like, "Don't disturb me," and people who are like, "Ooh, a film, I want to be involved." So
that's really awesome, the people who get so excited about it.
Yeah, exactly.
There were a couple of those scenes that we needed a lot of extras for From the Embers. There was Daphne's class at her college class. There was certain bar scenes. There was an AA meeting. And, it was cool that a lot of people who are, or some of them are, actors. They do this for a living. And they're like, yeah, give me one line or have me just sit there. I want to be part of this.
Yeah.
And the classroom, too, the people there were all students. Most of them were students who were just like, yes, I want to be in a movie. And it was kind of cool. And then you're doing the credits going, wow, we had a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah.
And then you have to name them all and thank them all and whatever.
I'm like, I have my AD over here, and I'll tell him, get their Instagram, screenshot it, send me the information because I'm going to forget on set. I'm like, we got to get consent from them.
Oh, yeah.
He's just like, got you. And we just get him in.
Yeah, when we have Zach there, Zach's got a whole thing of paperwork, and he's got extra things in case somebody walks by. It's like, sign this.
I love it. That's amazing.
It's, I just did some paperwork. Oh, it was copywriting something. I maybe you know this or don't know this, but it's the first time that I've done this. I always copyright my scripts, but I didn't copyright a finished film ever before. I didn't know you had to, but for feature film, because we were selling it, I had to. And they're like, you're just not the owner if you have all these other people, unless they're for hire. And thank God I had contracts for every single person, because otherwise
you'd have to go and get them to, oh my gosh.
Yeah, otherwise they can claim ownership of your film. So just so you know, if you're a filmmaker, know that, because I didn't know that before. I didn't even know you had to copyright your features, but you do.
Yeah, okay, good to know.
I know. I'm learning
Don't
something.
want someone stealing the movie now. just because they were like in it for a
I
minute.
know. I know. People are crazy. That's
Well,
what-
now they're gonna know they can do that. Oh no.
Okay, cut this out. But yeah, so just tell them you cut them out. So
Yeah,
then-
you're
then
not in
that's
it. Sorry.
Yeah, but things I didn't know before that I'm still learning, and just the way of doing, because I'm flipping contracts, just all the things I had to do after. I'm like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, that's
So-
the part I'm not.
So my
excited
film
about.
shoot, the one coming up, we have most of the paperwork already. That when people work on set, they might have to sign in, but other than that,
Nice.
they're all set. I'm not dealing with this again. Because as an independent filmmaker, you do everything. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that can make you crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You can't really do anything else but make your film when you're making your film. And I just did a show with my band at Stereo Garden in Patchogue. And when I put on a show, like, I don't do anything small. I like go so big. I see how far I could take everything. Like I had my friend hanging from the truss on a hoop. I rented a pole. I had another friend dancing on the pole. Like, crazy costumes, everything. And it's like, okay, I had to like actually give myself a vacation from Junkie Diaries just in order to put on this show, because if not, even if, it's not a day of shooting or editing, I'm waking up and I'm thinking about it, and I'm going to the script, or me making a call sheet, making a shot list, doing something, or even when I'm not editing with Mark, I'll edit on my phone and just like seeing how things piece together. I'll it's something that we don't have filmed yet. I'll just film a version of it on my phone to like see how it works. It's just that obsessive mind state to the point where the other day I was saying, I don't know if this is an unhealthy obsession that, like, how people get when they just like are addicted to their phone, so they'll open up and go on Instagram. I was getting like addicted to working on it. So I was like out eating with my friend, and I picked up my phone and I just like wanted to go to one of my videos, and I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm here with you. I'm present. I'm obsessed. But they say, obsession is what creates greatness. So,
Oh well, then I'm great.
Yeah.
Because I am.
You
so
have to
freaking
be
obsessed with everything.
obsessed, or it's not going to get done, and it's not going to be, all encompassing. And at the end of the day, if you're proud, if I'm proud of what we do, that's all that matters. And we're not going to be proud if we slack or we don't, give that obsession the food that it needs to, make the thing.
I mean, I think we're probably our own worst critics, and I know that if I can't do something better than I've done it before, then I don't want to do it. But they're all different. But when I write, John and I know we walk the dog, and that's how most of my movie ideas come up. When it's quiet, when it's whatever, and they'll say, "Oh, what if we do this, or what if we do that?" Or John will say, "Well, what if this happened?" I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't think of that," and it's just constant.
Nice.
And we were at a film festival in Texas with a couple of our films, Silent Harmony and A Brimstone Lullaby, and they had a filmmakers speed dating thing. But in this one, you could talk about anything but your movies, and I'm like, I have nothing to talk about, because everything we do is movies or writing or whatever.
That's so true. It almost feels like when I'm having conversations that aren't about film or music, I'm like trying so hard. But then, when the film or music conversations happen, it's just so obvious. I light up, I get passionate, I can talk forever. But I'm not good at talking about other things. I'm just not good at it. I'm like, am I antisocial, or I care about people and the world, but if it's not like the story that
That's
I'm
the same
telling,
way.
it's just hard.
I have nothing to talk about. The person, let's talk about sports. I'm like, I don't watch sports. Let's talk about this. I'm like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
What's your hobby? I make movies. But what about, I write. That's it. I walk my dog, but I don't know how many conversations you
Right,
can
like we could
have
talk about
that.
dogs. I could talk about animals.
Do you have any pets?
I don't have any pets, but I do love animals.
Oh,
so
okay. So you could talk about their animals.
yeah, and I'm vegan, so I can talk about
vegetarian.
that.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay. I'm a vegetarian. It's interesting how that goes, because I find myself, I'm mostly a vegetarian, except I would have shrimp and whatever. Now I don't even want that anymore.
Yeah,
So it's
I
just-
mean, I do cheat for different reasons, health reasons, or just convenience, or not wanting to interrupt whatever is going on. But for the most part, I try to stay true, because it's just crazy, like how animals are treated and how our we get our food, and it's just, you know, easier for me morally to stay away from it, and also to, you know, share that with other people and then kind of open their eyes. And it's like, it does seem to be making a difference, you know, the person who talked to me about it, and then I talked to this person about it, and it seems like New York has this like higher level of consciousness almost, like in what we do. And being in the city, I moved to the city a couple of years ago, and it really is like just a different mindset amongst communities, and it does feel to be, you know, people, you know, but I also understand like health, and some people can't eat certain things and they need certain, you know, amino acids and peptides and this, that, whatever. See, look, I could talk about other things.
I'm talking about other things. I generally don't tell people what you know, that I'm vegetarian. I don't care what people, they can eat whatever they want.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cook it, but you know, if somebody wants to make something, that's perfectly fine. You know, it's just my preference. It's not even.
I'm not trying to judge. I have my drummer is a chef, and he loves to like make fun of me for the things that I won't eat. And he does make delicious food, and he'll always make me vegan stuff, but I'll let him, you know, make whatever he wants for the whole band, and everybody really enjoys it. So
well, that's really cool. So he cooks for the band?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Band practice, or, you know, after a show and birthdays and stuff like that, we'll always have him. Chef Russ, if you need a private chef, Chef Russ.
Oh, well, remember that.
Yeah.
See, we need somebody on the crew who's a chef, and we don't have that. That's the one thing we don't have. Damn it. But I'm very proud of our crew. We when we did The Only Woman in the World, my first feature that you were in, we had no money to make it. We had almost no right to make a feature film with no money. But
Same.
So we decided, what could we do that would give people some benefit while we were getting this done? And so we trained everybody except for hair and makeup, and I think we had a couple of professional gaffers, but other than that, we trained everybody, and it was a nightmare. Because we were doing everything. So there was a day or two on set where it was me, John, and two actors, and John was shooting and doing the sound and gaffing, and you know, we were. Luckily, it was at our house on those days, but. But we learned so much.
Yeah.
You know.
That was with my first feature, it was kind of happened on accident because I was teaching at the time. I had about 20 students, and we couldn't do our play that everybody was so excited to do. So I just wrote, like, this is a very similar thing with, like, in 3 days, I wrote a feature film that kind of gave everyone a lead role in a way, where this like virus wipes out all the adults and the kids are left to fend for themselves. And I specifically wrote roles for each student's strengths. And I was like, we're going to make a movie. And like, you know, I said before, I always take things too far. It ended up being such a crazy, like, huge film, and all these kids got to be in this movie, but the kids paid for the movie because it was their acting class. So it was like a program, you know, they paid a fee, and some of it went to the acting school. And then I used, you know, my payment and the rest of it to pay, you know, Mark, who did the sound, filmed it, and edited it. And the locations and, you know, everything that goes into making a movie. And so, like, the kids paid for their own movie, or, you know, their parents. And that's also on Tubi.
What's the name of it?
The Compound.
The Compound?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to look for that.
Classic. Classic. No, but you can tell in the writing that it's like,
for kids.
Okay, she wrote this. Like, there's no reason to have this many leads in a movie. But it was cool. And I learned a lot, you know. And now I get to say I directed and wrote a feature. But this Junkie Diaries, you know, is my first real feature film. I mean, not that that's not real, but
the footage and the pictures look amazing.
Thank you, yeah. But I forgot what I was going to say, but...
But it's a different experience because this was all you for the story.
Oh yeah, no, nobody's. It's not an educational thing, so I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay for it. Probably like applying for grants and stuff like that. But
if you can get it in the can, you can take your time to do everything else.
It's like I figure out for the day how much money I need, and then somehow I get it. And I've been lucky enough to have like some actors deter their pay because like everybody's just so, like you said about you love your crew, that's how I feel about the crew and the cast. You know, we're a family and like we all want to see this succeed, so obviously I pay everybody, but I do feel like people care enough to, you know, I have a lot of people working for free. My director's working for free, my ADs are working for free, my production assistants are working for free, so many actors are working for free, extras and, you know, locations. We've been so blessed with locations just letting us film there, and it's really awesome. And so many musician friends that are helping with the score. We're trying to do an all original score because, you know, I love music so much and I want to kind of showcase that aspect of myself in this film. And the director's also a musician, Mark's a musician, so there's a lot of collaboration happening, and yeah.
That's what I love about indie film. I mean, there's all different levels of indie film. You know, sometimes you see stuff and it's if camcorders were still around, you would be pretty sure that that's what they did it on. They didn't have sound, and they, you know, people didn't really understand it. But if you want to make a film, there's a way to do it.
Yeah, like when I was in 4th grade, my entire family pitched in to buy me a video camera. I grew up very poor, so we didn't like. That was crazy to me that that they were able to get me a video camera. And I remember I would make movies 4th grade by like press it, and then I'd be like, what I would do is I would say, after I say action, wait 10 seconds. So I'd say action, press the record, they would do the scene, and then I would cut, and like we would have to film the next scene because I didn't understand editing or anything. So I'm editing as I'm filming, and then I would, you know, show the family, look what I made. I would like grab my uncle and be like, can you sit here and say this, blah, blah, blah. And oh my gosh, I thought I was making movies. I had my grandma and my aunt in the library holding auditions, and I had people bringing their kids thinking that it was a real movie.
Well, that's a real movie.
Well, it's 4th grade me being like playing make-believe, like I'm this big director, because the parents came with their kids' headshots and stuff, and my Grammy and my aunt are like just playing the roles of like the producers. Meanwhile,
I love this.
Like, I love this. And that was my first 3 Girls in the City, it was called.
That is amazing.
So I've been just making movies since I could, out of nothing, anything that I could find. You know, if I grew up in this age, you know, and we had phones and editing and CapCut and all these different editing programs right on your phone, I bet I would have been making like crazy stuff.
I mean, when people have asked me when I knew that I wanted to do this, and similar, except I didn't have media. There were no camcorders. They didn't exist yet.
Oh, yeah.
And my parents would, you know, bring their friends over, would bring their kids over, and I'd write like these little skits in my brain. Okay, you do this. You do that. But it was playing.
Yes.
You know, but I didn't realize I was actually directing and writing, you know, and I didn't realize it was a thing or something that I could do. But you always had that wanting to see stories. It's basically storytelling.
Putting on the plays for the family and everything.
Now, had I had a camcorder, that's probably exactly what I would have been doing.
Yeah, but so cute, and it just goes to show you that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and you're being your kid. That's your like inner child, and you're able to do that as an adult. That's why we were talking about before we started the podcast how grateful we are to just do this. And like if there's somebody on set who's not appreciative to be there, it's like, how we're doing this, like this is what we wanted to do since we were kids, right? So I'm just super blessed to have this life and chose to do this.
Oh, there's nothing better. It's stressful and it's exhausting and it can be frustrating, but it's the most fun.
Yeah. Also, this is random thought came to my head. These movies that I would make when I was a kid always were horror. Like I was always doing weird stuff, scaring people. I had this one that I wrote a book when I was 7 called A Painting in the Attic. And my grandparents and my dad were like, should we send her to therapy? Is she okay? They're like, yeah, I think she's fine. She just likes, spooky things. And my grandma's like, what is she watching that this would even come to her head? Because they didn't let me watch like secular things or very religious. I'm like, they're like, how did you think of this ghost story about the painting in the attic? And I'm like, I don't know, I just thought, no idea like how I thought of it. But yeah, so a lot of the things that I did as a kid were all like scary, spooky, and I still have a lot of that in me, but
Well, that's cool.
my next thing's going to be a comedy because I think that that's kind of what the world needs right now as opposed to like more sad stories and tragic stories. Although I'm happy to be making this and relating to people, I'm like sometimes questioning myself, should I be making something that is putting people in a better mood and not like
You have to do what
bringing
comes
people
to you.
down? But yeah.
I mean, I did Waitlist, A Lover Story, which is kind of mostly a very light, funny, sexy comedy. It does get serious at points, but because things have been so dark, I just wanted to do something happy. And so they took this one-day shoot, and I kind of knew exactly what wanted to happen. And there's this very sexy romp in the hallway, and I wanted to put music to it. I knew I had to find the perfect song, and I reached out to my friend Martha reached out to me because I reached out to everybody on social media going, who has a really happy, sexy kind of song or whatever. And so Martha does a lot of folk and bluegrass. I'm like, it's kind of not that. And I told her what I wanted. I had the perfect person. And she sent me to Rory Kelly. I don't know if you...
Oh, yes.
So
I love
amazing.
Rory. Yeah,
oh, my
yeah.
God. So she gave me, I told her what I wanted. She gave me the scene everywhere I go. I'm like, that's it. That's the song. And so that was kind of the basis for the whole movie. When we made it into a feature, I think every song in it, other than maybe one or two pieces of the soundtrack, are from her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I
and
love that.
it makes the movie. She
Yeah.
had exactly the right vibe for the movie.
Music really does.
And then I went from that to From the Embers, which is very dark, and it's about addiction and trauma and whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do what comes to you.
Yeah, that's true.
If you need to do something light after, then that's going to be what
And
you
that's
do.
like, I try to bring the lightness to my music. So I don't sing about like my traumas and stuff, or maybe in a way, but my music is really just happy, fun. If it is something deeper, it's more of like a positive message. I try not to take myself seriously on stage. I'm like combining comedy and like burlesque and different things into my act. And then, I have one song, Real, so I always try to like bring it back, keep it real, be like, okay, there's duality here. I'm not this silly, crazy girl all the time. But yeah, I think having music also definitely keeps me balanced, because if I only had one or the other, I would probably go crazy. I really use them kind of like to balance out each other. When one thing is going one way, I'm like, oh, I could just sit at my piano and write a song. Or when music is frustrating me, I'm like, oh, I can read a play, write a scene, go to acting class. So
I think one of the things, I'm not going to say limits me, but I know that they say it's important to have a brand, but I do it. I've done horror. I don't do a lot of horror, but I've done horror. I've done romantic comedies. I've done really, really depressing dramas, and I don't know. And then I'm doing a Christmas movie, in 2027, which is a little more of the romantic comedy, but there's also some serious stuff in it too. So I never know. Whatever comes to me from wherever it comes, because we channel from wherever,
and it's coming from somewhere, so it's like you have to do it.
Yes.
Because why is it coming?
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. I agree. And there's things I started. I'll write the notes to it, and the bit, but I can't get to it yet. It might not be 2-3 years till I get to it.
It is quite impossible to feed every idea, or else you'd have to be like 10 people, at least for me. I'd have to be a lot of people. But I do these big Post-it notes on my walls. So whenever I have an idea that I feel really passionate about, I jot it down and post it up.
Yep.
That's actually what happened with Junkie Diaries. And my friend Christina came over and she looked on the wall and she's like, what's Junkie Diaries? I'm like, oh, it's this short film I wrote. She's like, let's read it. And then we read it and she's like, you have to produce that. And we did. Like, she could have said any of the things written on my wall and my life would be completely different right now, but she chose that, so I do owe her for this, really.
I've written so much stuff. I mean, I try to make stuff that write stuff that I can make in a way that I can afford to make it. And I've gotten paid to write scripts for people and whatnot, or paid to direct stuff that other people have written. But, when those ideas just kind of so I'll write them, I'll make notes, or even write the script, and it's sitting there, and then 5 years later I'm watching a TV show, and almost my exact dialogue, now I know they didn't steal it from me, nobody saw it, but I'll go, it's like I had that idea and I haven't finished it yet, and there it is. But there's only so many ideas in the world. What are there, 7, I think?
I have one TV show that I've been writing for 10 years. And every now and then something will come out that like reminds me of it, but nothing exactly like it. And then I have another, I have 2 Marvel movies that I'm writing. One is like a Harley Quinn origin story, and one is about Squirrel Girl, who's this like off character. She's kind of new in the Marvel universe. And those are 2 things that I'm like, I'm going to see this before I finish it. But that's okay. I'm still going to work on it.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to Letty Buchanan, who I had here last time, and she's a horror filmmaker. But she said, "Oh, you have a superhero too." And I started to write the idea for something before I even knew you. So it's probably like 25 years old, and the character is called Vigilante because she's.
Wait, that's amazing.
And I have the prototype. I'll show you the picture. I'll send it to you.
Vigilante? Wait, that is so
Right?
good.
Right. Now somebody's going to do it. But my friend who used to work for, I'm going to say DC. I think he worked for DC, not Marvel. But he actually was one of the animators. And so I told him what I wanted, and he drew the prototype
Oh my gosh,
for
I
me.
have to see this. That's so good.
But I haven't had time to do anything with it.
Oh my
but,
gosh,
so one day I will. I think it's coming soon. I think it's coming
That
soon.
needs to come soon.
I
That's
know.
amazing. Yeah, the Squirrel Girl, I was like, I need to play Squirrel Girl. She's the one character that I know I can play.
Does she actually exist, or you made it up?
No, she exists.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I'm like, they took Black Widow, they took Scarlet Witch. I don't have much left here. I have Squirrel Girl. Give me her. They actually did make. They were gonna, the T-Mobile girl, the actress.
Yes, yeah.
They cast her as Squirrel Girl in something, but it never got made. Thank God, because I'm like, I'm Squirrel Girl. We're putting that. I used to have a squirrel in my Instagram bio because I was like, this is my path in life. I went to stunt school and everything. But yes.
What is her superpower, Squirrel Girl?
She is very strong. She can communicate with squirrels, get them to do whatever she wants. The thing I wrote was like a Marvel TV show for when Disney Plus was doing all those shows. And in the first episode, she steals Iron Man's suit and like goes into space. And she actually like kills Doctor Doom and Thanos. She's like really powerful and crazy. And yeah, she's like one of the most powerful superheroes. They say that about everybody, but she really is. Yeah.
Did you learn about that from comic books, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then my DC love, Batman. I just love Batman and, Harley Quinn specifically. More recently, in the last couple of years, I've just realized how many similarities there are between me and Harley Quinn. And I'm like, everybody always does the Joker origin story, but isn't the story of a doctor who falls in love with her patient and gets so manipulated by his narcissism that she helps him sneak out of the asylum and then quits her, getting a doctorate, all the things that she had to do to get to where she was and give her life away? Like, to me, that's a really great story. And it's like never been done.
Have you reached out to the studios at all?
No, I haven't. I've only like wrote ideas and blueprints, and like I wrote like probably like 40 pages. And then, the thought of that person then realizing what they did to their life, but like you're still so intelligent because you're a doctor, and realizing that what was so attractive about what the Joker was doing was not because she was in love with him, it was because she saw that in herself. And that's like Harley Quinn, and she's actually way more intelligent than the Joker, and like then she kind of goes off, but she has more morals in my head, at least in like what I've read and how I perceive her. So it's kind of like this story of like, giving a man the credit for something that's really you, and then because you love him so much, like putting him on this pedestal, and then realizing like, wait a second, you don't treat me good, and I'm just as talented as you, and
I love that.
know, so
we need more of that. And this is Women's History Month, so it's really. And
Harley
I think
Quinn,
yesterday was
baby.
the National Women's Day.
Yes,
so
it was.
it's-
I got wished Happy National Women's Day by
too.
multiple people, which was really nice. So happy belated Women's Day to you.
You as well. Yeah, but I think it's important to get these stories out there.
Yeah.
And one thing that I realize, and I'm trying to work on it, is that a lot of my stuff are really male-centric. And I think because we've been so brought up to just see things that way, and it kind of annoys me.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that. But there is Travis.
There is Travis. but I tried to do something in From the Embers where...
But yeah, you have strong female characters.
Yeah. Daphne is actually, even though she's young, she's very, very smart. And when she doesn't realize she's gotten her... She's very smart, and she's very idealistic, but she is kind of so in love, she wants to save this guy, that she doesn't realize she's gotten herself in a codependent relationship. But when she does, it's sort of like, I'm not having this.
Yeah.
So you have to show me, and I wanted to make sure that she took that stand.
Interesting. I love that. They say, like, I've noticed before, like, as a female actress, like, when it's a male writer, I'm like, you don't really know females because whatever. And when the director was directing a scene and he was giving the actor guy notes, I'm thinking in my head, am I experiencing what male writers experience? Like, do I not know how to write for a male character? Because the notes that he was giving the actor, I'm like, as the writer, that's not what I thought his objective was or whatever. But I'm like, I'm going to let the director give these notes and do this interpretation because he's a male. It's a male character. And maybe there's something in the story he sees that I don't see. But it's just very interesting. I mean, we're all people. Everybody has masculine and feminine, this and that. But I'm like, do I not know how to write for male characters? But it's,
Well, I think
it depends. I think also because when it's a character based on someone I know, like my lead, one of my other leads, Nico, is the character's name, is based off someone, Nico, that I know, who is a very specific personality. Like, I stole lines that he says and his cadence and energy and specific scenes I was in. I tried to write word for word from my memory. But then there's this other character, Eli, who's kind of a culmination of multiple people I know, including myself. So there's a lot of me in Eli, and when the director directs Eli, I'm like, that's not what Eli feels. Like, what? But I just kind of let it happen because I'm like, yeah, maybe he sees something about Eli that I don't see. Maybe I don't see it about myself even, so...
I mean, when I write, when we talked about putting parts of the characters in there, I mean, you also listen to the actors as far as, I wouldn't say that, or like Julia would call me up and go, yeah, but I don't think that at this age that you would be doing this. And I'd think about it, and I'm like, well, what do you think? And, when you try to put that together, and the series that we're going to be finishing by end of May, as far as filming A Couple of Guys, it's an LGBTQ love story. And it features two males, and I have... 3 basic cultural consultants, and my main one being Lucas Hassel, who's one of the leads, because he would tell me things about a scene that I would write. I mean, we get along so well collaboratively, but he goes, when he does that, that means he's going in the back to get a blowjob. I'm like, no, that's not what happens. She goes, I know that, and you know that, so he needs to not say that. And I'm like, okay, because there's certain things in the
that's
culture.
So funny. Yeah.
So it's if he'll bring up things and
research is very important.
Yes, yeah.
For Junkie Diaries, I went to Harlem, and I went to like a harm reduction clinic, and I kind of went through the process of like what it would feel like to need to find a needle, and like what do I do, like how, or just very, very, very extensive research, with the exception of like doing heroin, because obviously I wouldn't do that, but interviewing a lot of addicts and interviewing a lot of families and rehab centers and stuff like that was really important for the film, just to like get the authenticity of it. I know we're running out of time, so
I did so much research for From the Embers, same thing, reading books and talking to people I didn't know had been heroin addicts for like 20 years, and I've been working them for 20 and didn't know that, and Yeah, talk about depressing. But just the things that people have gone through. And I do use some of their verbiage with their approval and whatever, but I touch on harm reduction and a whole bunch of other things through Daphne's interviews with other people. But it's funny how we're both kind of on that trajectory of those kind of stories.
And also, like, the year of my film takes place from 2015 to 2018 mostly, so like getting the outfits right and the like how we dressed, how we used technology and phones, and everything's like slightly different and very thought out, down to like today we're shooting a scene where I'm in a Halloween costume and I'm like, but what would I really be wearing in 2017 to this Halloween party with where I'm at in my life? And just, oh my God, like literally hours talking about what Halloween costume I should be.
Who's doing your costumes and stuff? Is it you?
Me.
Well,
cool. Actually, we did have a girl, Allie, who was helping in the beginning. And, you know, it's a collaborative thing, but for the most part, she's been like a consultant on it. My director really cares about costumes, so like there's like lots of costume combos. Costume comboed out.
So where, Nikki, can people find out about you, your movies, your music?
On Instagram is the best way to get everything I do. NIKKIANNSILVA is my main Instagram, Nikki Ann Silva. In my bio, you'll find Nikki Silva Productions, where I put everything for Junkie Diaries. But you can also check me out on YouTube. I do videos, Nikki Silva. On Spotify, Nikki Silva, NIKKISILVA. And yeah, I'm on Facebook and TikTok and everything, but I think that if you go to my Instagram, you'll find everything else.
Yeah, and if they go to at Debra Markowitz Film, where I put all the stuff for the podcast, or our website, Intention Films and Media, I have all your contact information there too, so they can
And if
can
you
look
type
at
in
that.
my name on Tubi TV, a bunch of the horror stuff that I did will come up.
I have to check that out.
And if you like horror, and then, you know, my kids movie, The Compound, if you want to watch a little kid silly movie that's, you know, not written well. Don't judge my writing on that movie.
Marean Maisano is chiming in.
Oh my gosh, Marean! I love Marean. Okay, so I also perform with Marean really quick. We're doing a show. Did she put the date of the show?
No.
Because I can't think of it right now. But we perform something, The Italian Chicks, and we're 3 girls. She wrote this awesome play. We sing songs. It's really great. You can come see me in that. I'm doing a couple performances, but I think there's one in June or April. I don't know. She'll put the date on there. Love Marean. I'm also in her film that's won a lot of awards. I won Best Actress. It's called The Key, and I play a lesbian who, you know, falls in love. I'm actually the younger version of... No, I'm not the younger version of Marean. I'm her, like, lover in, like, flashbacks and stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's great. So check it out, Marean. She's awesome. The Italian Chicks. Very fun project that I do.
Right. Well, I want to thank Governors. I want to thank first Nikki for coming here.
Thank you for having
me. Tony for facilitating everything. Also Governors, of course, for, you know, allowing us to do this very cool studio. But I thank you so much, and we'll be back next week with the best of intentions. Thank you.
Awesome. I'll see you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Best of Intentions, a